Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to RobMotive. Today, I'm going to be putting the Shackle kit on the front of the new Toyota Tacoma. This is a 2025 TRD off-road. Now, according to the directions, the tools that you need, which are down here, are a 10 millimeter, 12 millimeter, 17 millimeter, and 19 millimeter wrench and socket. These are all metric, of course. Also, it doesn't hurt to have an impact driver just to take the screws out. It makes it much easier. This is what the shackle brackets look like. They're pretty darn substantial. Now, I did cut a notch out of mine because when I had these on the Sport, it did not come with the cross-member bar across the front, but I'm pretty sure it does on the TRD off-road. So if you're putting this on a TRD off-road, you should not need the cross-member bar. We're going to find out in just a minute, actually. But let's go ahead and dig right in. First of all, we have to remove some stuff. And looking under the truck, you need to remove both of the towing and recovery points in the front. One there and one here, of course. And then you need to remove the splash guard up in the front here. On the TRD off-road, they actually made it out of plastic as opposed to that felt stuff like what is right over here. That's what was on the Sport. So we're going to go ahead, remove the shackles or the towing points, I guess, and then we'll go ahead and pull this cover off and then move on to the next step. Boy. Okay, they got those on there. First head hit of the day there. So, I'm going to change positions, get a little bit better angle on these things. And you want to make sure you save those bolts you just removed because you're going to be reusing them, as you will all of these bolts, I think, except for two up here in the front that I'll show you in a minute. Now, let's go ahead and remove this cover. And this is what you'd need to do, I think, if you were going to change the oil. So, same process. And you want to save these. This one Toyota didn't even have on all the way. And we'll just set that aside along with that hardware. So that's pretty simple. Next up, there are two bolts you want to remove right here and right here. To be able to move this panel a little bit out of the way, because you have a screw you have to take out back up in here. Those are 10 millimeter. Yeah, that's pretty easy. And what that does is allow this part to be moved, like you can see, because there is a screw that you're going to replace, and it's this one right here. You see there are two, one on the outside. Let's see, right, if I can get you in the picture there. One on the outside right here, and one on the inside right over here. This one. So that's the one you're going to replace. Same thing on the other side, the screw that's on the inside. Now this can be kind of tedious because, and this is why you had to loosen up this piece here, this comes out from the back. So you've got to get to that screw head that you can see, hopefully, right back behind here. And that's kind of a bear. It's very slow work. So I'm going to remove those on each side and then we'll come back on. Probably going to take me about 15-20 minutes to remove them both. Okay, I've got the new screw in here, and the whole point in putting in this new screw is you have to have enough thread sticking out over the edge to be able to tighten down the bracket on the new shackle down there. And by the way, I want to mention something. I talked about the crossbar in doing this. Disregard that. The crossbar, which I do have on the TRD off-road already, is if you're going to be installing a skid plate. You need it for the Sport because it doesn't come with it, but it's already included with the TRD off-road. So you do not need the crossbar here if you are not installing an aftermarket or even the TRD version skid plate. It really has nothing to do with putting shackles on the front of the truck. Now, a tip for you, don't go ahead and tighten this screw all the way down, because if you do, it's not going to leave enough distance between the end of the screw here and the metal that's up here, or plastic, I guess, to be able to put the bolt on, or the nut on this screw that's going to hold the, or part of what holds the bracket that you're putting on. So leave it a little bit loose until you get the bracket on there and get the nut on the other end. And then you can go ahead and then tighten it down from this side and then tighten the bolt from this side. And that's what we're going to do next. Now, the bracket itself, which you can see here, is going to be held on by these two holes. There's going to be the two screws you took off are going to go through these two holes. And then the whole reason we replaced the other bolt is it's going to be held on right at this point here. So I'm going to do that next. I'll show you when I'm done. All right, the installation is complete. The brackets are on, and I will tell you, anybody who says these are not as strong as those has no idea what they're talking about. These things are like steel, cast maybe, I think, and they are quite robust, and they are bolted to the original towing points underneath, which is what those were bolted to. Now, I'll give you a real quick look at the passenger side underneath. You can see you reused the two screws over here, and then right up there, the new shiny hardware you can see, hopefully, is what I added. You do want to go ahead, I know I said earlier, and tighten that bolt down. I had thought because of that plastic piece you can see right in front of the end of the screw that it would be in the way. It actually moves, so you can push it out of the way, and it's so tight, especially on the driver's side, that you're going to need to do that. I will tell you, you can see where I cut this notch out. If you have the cross member already in your truck like you do on the off-road, you do not need to cut that out, I don't believe. It is possible, I guess, right here in this area that you might need to notch it a little. You can see where it might interfere here because of the height over here. I'm not sure, I don't remember how much. I think it did go flatly across there. So you still might need actually to notch this, not quite as far as I did. Not really a big deal. With a saber saw, a jigsaw, and a metal cutting blade, it's pretty easy to do. That's it. So now I have to put the cover back on. Not a big deal because I'm not putting the skid plate on just yet. And then we're going to tackle the ones in the back. before I do that, and that will be a separate video by the way, but before I do that, I do need to decide whether to go black or red with the D-rings, and I'm gonna put each one on. You guys can see what they look like. For me, I think red kind of clashes with the color of the truck a little bit, so I don't think I'm gonna go red. I think I'm gonna go black, but take a look and leave a comment down below what you think. Here's a quick look. That's what the red looks like, and that's what the black looks like. For me, it is gonna definitely be black, and I'll put black on the back once I do what I'm gonna do. Make sure you check out that video, by the way. But I am gonna go with black. I'll snap a picture at the end here, just to let you guys know what it looks like. Anyway, leave a comment. Let me know what you think of this mod. I'd be curious to know. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.